Hello and welcome. Today we'll be looking at what happened after the Well of Eternity and the Queen Ajara decided to become more reclusive. The War of the Ancients. The Highborn's reckless use of magics and ripples of energy spiraling out from the Well of Eternity and into the great dark beyond. The streaming ripples of energy were filled by terrible alien minds. Sargeras, the great enemy of all life, the destroyer of worlds, felt the felt the potent ripples and was drawn to their distant point of origin. Spying the primordial world of Azeroth and sensing the limitless energies of the Well of Eternity, Sargeras was consumed by an insatiable hunger. The great Dark Lord of the Nameless Void resolved to destroy the fledgling world and claim its energies as his own. Sargeras gathered his vast burning legion and made his way towards the unsuspecting world of Azeroth. The legion was comprised of millions of screaming demons, all ripe from the far corners of the universe, and the demons hungered for conquest. Sargeras' lieutenant, Archimon the Defiler, and Manroth the Destructor prepared their infernal minions to strike. Queen Ajara, overwhelmed by the terrible ecstasy of her magic, fell victim to Sargeras' undeniable power and agreed to grant him entrance to her world. Even her highborn servitors gave themselves over to magic's inevitable corruption and began to worship Sargeras as their god. To show their allegiance to the Legion, the Highborn aided their queen in opening a vast, swirling portal within the depths of the Well of Eternity. Once all his preparations had been made, Sargeras began his catastrophic invasion of Azeroth. The warrior demon of the Burning Legion stormed into the world through the Well of Eternity and laid siege to the Night of Sleeping Cities. Led by Archimonde and Manoroth, the Legion swarmed over the lands of Kalimdor, leaving only ash and sorrow in its wake. The demon warlocks called down searing infernos that crashed like hellish meteors into the graceful spires of Kalimdor's temples. A band of burning, bloodletting killers known as Doomguard marched across Kalimdor's fields, slaughtering everyone in their path. Packs of wild demonic fellhounds ravaged the countryside unopposed. Though the brave Kaldari warriors rushed there to defend their ancient homeland, they were forced to give ground, inch by inch, before the fury of the Legion's onslaught. It fell to Malfurion Stormrage to hope to find help for his beleaguered people. Stormrage, whose own brother Illidan practiced the Highborn's magic, was incensed by the growing corruption amongst the upper class. Convincing Illidan to forsake his dangerous obsession, Malfurion set out to find Cenarius and muster a resistance force. The beautiful young priestess Tyrande agreed to accompany the brothers in the name of Elune. Though Malfurion and Illidan shared a love for the idealistic priestess, Tyranda's heart belonged to Malfurion alone. Illidan resented his brother's budding romance with Tyrande, but knew that his heartache was nothing compared to the pain of his magical addiction. Illidan, who had grown dependent on magic's empowering energies, struggled to keep control of his nearly overwhelming hunger to tap the well's energies once again. However, with Tyranda's patient support, he was able to restrain himself and help his brother find the reclusive demigod Cenarius. Cenarius, who dwelt within the sacred moonglades of the distant Mount Hyjal, agreed to help the Night Elves by finding the ancient dragons and enlisting their aid. The dragons, led by the great red Leviathan Alexstrasza, agreed to send their mighty flights to engage the demons and their infernal masters. Cenarius, calling on the spirits of the enchanted forest, rallied an army of ancient treemen and led them against the Legion in a daring ground assault. As the Night Elves' allies converged upon Ajara's temple and the Well of Eternity, all-out warfare erupted. Despite the strength of their newfound allies, though, Malfurion and his colleagues realized the Legion could not be defeated by martial strength alone. As the titanic battle raged around Ajara's capital city, the delusional queen waited in anticipation for Sargeras' arrival. The Lord of the Legion was preparing to pass through the Well of Eternity and enter the ravaged world. As his impossibly huge shadow drew ever closer to the well's raging surface, Ajargar, the most powerful of her highborn followers, only by linking their magics together in one focused spell would they be able to create a gateway large enough for Sargeras to enter. As the battle raged across the burning fields of Kalimdor, a terrible turn of events unfolded. The details of the events have been lost to time. But it is known that Neltarion, the dragon aspect of the earth, went mad during a critical engagement against the Burning Legion. He began to split apart as flame and rage erupted from his dark hide. Renaming himself Deathwing, the burning dragon turned on his brethren and drove the 5 dragonflights from the battlefield. Deathwing's sudden betrayal was so destructive that the 5 dragonflights never truly recovered. Wounded and shocked, Alexstrasza and the other noble dragons were forced to abandon their mortal allies. Malfurion and his companions, now hopelessly outnumbered, barely survived the ensuing onslaught. Malfurion, convinced that the Well of Eternity was the demon's umbilical line to the physical world, insisted that it should be destroyed. His companions, knowing that the well was the source of their immortality and powers, were horrified by the rash notion. Yet Tyrande saw the wisdom of Malfurion's theory, so she convinced Cenarius and their comrades to storm Ajar's temple and find a way to shut down the well for good. More is expanded upon the War of the Ancients in the War of the Ancients trilogy books, which I highly recommend. Thank you for watching.